There is a swimming hole like this in almost every mountain town. A bend in the creek below a low-water bridge, a rope tied to a sycamore branch, water still enough to see the bottom. And in almost every one of those towns, there is a second swimming hole. One bend downstream, one pond behind somebody's barn. Nobody goes in it. Not because a sign tells them not to, because at some point, without anyone deciding it out loud, the whole community agreed that water was different and quietly stopped going. Ask why, and you rarely get a straight answer. Somebody's cousin got bit there once. Something got somebody's dog. The real reason usually gets lost, but the avoidance sticks around for generations, passed down as a rule nobody remembers making. That is what this list is actually about. Not the creatures that make headlines, the black bear on the trail or the copperhead in the woodpile, but the ones in the water itself. The ones that turned ordinary swimming holes into places locals quietly refuse to swim near for reasons that get vaguer. Every year they go unexplained. Today, we are counting down 11 of the most dangerous creatures in Appalachian waters, ranked not by which could kill you fastest, but by how completely the avoidance around it became part of the local landscape. An unwritten rule handed to a kid before they are old enough to ask where it came from. Some of these are the actual reason a creek got its reputation. A few work in the dark, leaving no visible mark, which is exactly why they rank higher than anything with teeth. By the time we reach number 1, you may understand why that second swimming hole never needed a fence. Before we start, if this is the kind of thing that sticks with you, go ahead and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, is there a spot near you that everybody avoids and nobody can quite explain why? Now, let's get into the water. Number 11. The hellgramite. We start with the creature every Appalachian kid has flipped over a rock to find and used as bait without a second thought. The hellgramite, the larval stage of the eastern Dobson fly, is a flat, dark, centipede-looking thing hiding under stream stones by the thousands, and almost nobody treats it as anything more than fish food. What gets skipped over is the head. A hellgramite carries sharp pincers built to grab and hold prey, and those same pincers can deliver a genuinely painful bite to bare skin. Anglers wading barefoot, reaching under rocks for bait, are the ones who find this out the hard way, usually with blood in the water and a curse word before they even see what did it. Number 11 earns its place not for lethality, but for the posture everyone takes toward it. Casual, careless, hands in the water confidence. Kids are taught to catch these things bare-handed before they are taught to respect them. The creature everyone touches without thinking is rarely the one that deserves it. Number 10. The giant water bug. Stay in that same shallow stretch and look closer, because the giant water bug, sometimes called the toe biter, is built to be mist. Flattened, brown, camouflaged against pond vegetation, it can grow over 2 inches long and still vanish against the mud the instant it stops moving. It does not hunt people. It hunts tadpoles, minnows, small fish, using a piercing beak that injects digestive fluid into prey and liquefies it from the inside before the bug drinks it back out. When a bare foot comes down on one by accident, that same beak delivers what is widely regarded as one of the more painful bites in the insect world. A burning stab that can leave part of a limb numb for hours. Here is the part that connects directly to the theme of this list. In more than one mountain community, there is a specific pond where kids stopped swimming, and if you trace the story back far enough, it started with someone getting toe bitten and never learning the actual name of what did it. The reputation outlived the explanation, and the pond just quietly emptied out over the years. Number 9. the common snapping turtle. Now we go from something small enough to miss to something that has been sitting in plain sight the entire time. The common snapping turtle lives in practically every farm pond, slow creek, and reservoir backwater across Appalachia, and most people who swim near one never know it. On land, a snapper is genuinely aggressive, with a beak-like jaw built to crush through shell and bone alike. In water, it is a different animal entirely, docile, more interested in avoiding you than confronting you. But step on one, or corner it in shallow water where it cannot retreat, and that changes fast. There are no confirmed cases of a snapping turtle bite causing an amputation on its own, but the bite can be deep enough to require one anyway, once infection sets in. The denial here is geographic. People assume snapping turtles belong to swamps somewhere else, somewhere wilder, somewhere with a name like Georgia or Louisiana. In reality, the farm pond behind the house almost certainly has one, sitting on the bottom, patient, exactly where the mud goes soft. Number 8. The freshwater jellyfish. Now the danger stops crawling on the bottom and starts drifting in open water, disguised as something that should not exist this far from an ocean. Freshwater jellyfish, Craspedicusta sourbii, are real, spreading through Appalachian lakes and reservoirs. A species that originated a continent away, in China's Yangtze Basin, and now turns up in still water almost anywhere in the world. Small, translucent, about the size of a quarter, they surface in late summer as the water warms, sometimes in numbers dense enough to startle anyone not expecting a jellyfish in a mountain lake. Their sting is real, powered by the same cells found in ocean jellyfish, though generally too weak to break human skin, which means the fear it causes is almost entirely out of proportion to the actual risk. What unsettles people is the wrongness, not the danger. A jellyfish in a reservoir far from any coast breaks something in how people understand their own water, which is exactly why sightings get passed around like sea monster stories instead of the sober biological fact they are. Number 7. The alligator snapping turtle. Now we meet the creature most Appalachian locals are certain does not exist here, a swamp monster imported from somewhere further south. A story, not a fact. They are wrong. The alligator snapping turtle is real, and it turns up in the Tennessee River drainage, spiked, moss-backed, prehistoric-looking, with a hooked beak strong enough that biologists who handle them warn plainly about the risk to fingers. It lies motionless with its mouth open, wiggling a small pink lure on its tongue, waiting for a fish to swim close enough, patient in a way that feels almost unnatural to watch. These animals can go years unseen in water people fish and swim across constantly, indistinguishable from a sunken log to anyone not looking closely. The denial here is disbelief. A story this big feels like it belongs somewhere wilder than a Tennessee river bend. It does not. Number 6. The northern water snake. If you have spent any real time near Appalachian water, you carry a rule in your head. Dark snake in the creek, assume the worst. That instinct is not wrong, but it is aimed at the wrong target more often than anyone admits. The northern water snake is large, heavy-bodied, and can look remarkably like a copperhead or cottonmouth from any distance that matters. It is also completely harmless, more interested in fish and frogs than anyone waiting nearby. But because it wears the same rough coloring and defensive posture as the snakes that actually can hurt you, flattening its body and striking the water in a panic, it gets lumped in with them by nearly everyone who sees one. The confusion runs both directions. People kill harmless water snakes out of misplaced fear, and people wave off genuinely venomous snakes as just a water snake out of misplaced confidence. That second mistake, standing still instead of stepping back, is the one that actually gets someone bitten. If you are still with me at number 6, subscribe if you have not already, because the top 5 is where this stops being a stat and starts being your actual life on the water. Number 5, the cottonmouth. Now we reach the only venomous water snake most Appalachians will ever encounter. The cottonmouth's range here is narrower than people assume, largely confined to the southernmost stretches, parts of Georgia, Tennessee, and Virginia, where wetlands, drainage ditches, and slow river water give it exactly the habitat it needs. A single bite can inject around 125 milligrams of venom, and anywhere between 100 and 150 milligrams is considered lethal for a human. The venom is tissue-destroying, breaking down muscle and skin around the bite site. And while deaths are rare with prompt treatment, a serious bite is an unambiguous medical emergency, not something to wait out at home. The denial here is written into the nickname. An entire region agreed to call this snake something softer, water moccasin, and softened its reputation right along with the name. Combine that with how often it gets confused with the harmless water snake, and you get the exact swimming hole story this list keeps circling. The water, where it's probably just a moccasin, turned out to be the wrong guess. Number 4, Leptospirosis. Here is where this list turns, because not every danger in Appalachian water has a face. Leptospirosis is a bacterial infection spread through water, contaminated by the urine of infected animals, livestock, deer, raccoons, rodents, the entire wildlife population sharing every farm pond with the people swimming in it. It enters through the mouth, eyes, or any break in the skin too small to notice. A scraped knee, a bug bite, a hangnail. Early symptoms mimic the flu, fever, aching joints, a headache that will not quit, so it is routinely missed until it has already progressed, sometimes causing kidney damage, liver failure, and in the worst outcomes, death. The ponds most likely to carry it are the ones families have always considered safest, fed by pasture runoff, warmed by a summer that never seems dangerous because nothing in it can be seen. Number 3, Naegleria fowleri. The third place creature is the one this entire list has been building toward, the one that explains why refusing to swim somewhere can be the smartest instinct a person has, even without knowing why. Naegleria fowleri is a single-celled amoeba, invisible without a microscope, living in warm, still fresh water during the hottest stretch of summer. Swallowing it does nothing, no matter how much water goes down. It has exactly one route in, up the nose, when water is forced into the sinuses by a dive or a wipeout. From there, it travels along the nerve pathway to the brain and causes an infection, fatal in roughly 97% of cases, one of the highest fatality rates of any infectious disease known. North Carolina alone has recorded confirmed cases going back decades, including a child's death after swimming in a private farm pond, the most ordinary kind of Appalachian summer water there is. Researchers tracking these infections have found the geographic range creeping northward as temperatures climb, meaning mountain lakes once considered too cool are increasingly in play. Health officials do not post warning signs on individual lakes because a sign on one would falsely suggest the rest are safe. The actual guidance is to assume this amoeba could be present in any warm, still freshwater body every summer and act accordingly, every single time. Number 2, the timber rattlesnake. Now we surface back into daylight for the two creatures that finally explain why some swimming holes get avoided in broad view of everyone. No invisible threat required. The timber rattlesnake is the largest, most dangerous venomous snake in Appalachia, and despite its reputation as a forest animal, it is a genuinely capable swimmer, hunting fish, frogs, and other snakes directly at the water's edge. It favors exactly the terrain that surrounds most swimming holes: rocky banks, sun-warmed ledges, the kind of place people fling a towel down without a second thought. Its rattle is meant as a warning, and most bites happen because that warning gets ignored, over rushing water, over kids laughing on the bank, over the sound of a rope swing hitting the water again and again. The denial here is proximity. People treat the water as separate from the woods around it, when for this snake, there was never a line between the two. Number 1, the copperhead. And so we arrive at number 1, and it is, of course, the copperhead. Not because it is the most exotic creature on this list, but because it is the one Appalachia has most completely trained itself not to see. Copperheads account for roughly 39% of all venomous snake bites in the United States, more than any other species by a wide margin. They favor exactly the terrain around every swimming hole: leaf litter, rocky creek banks, the shaded edge where the trail meets the water. Their camouflage is close to perfect, and their instinct when approached is not to flee, it is to freeze, which means the snake that is actually there is often the one nobody sees until it is too late. The alligator snapping turtle and the timber rattlesnake earned their spots through disbelief. Naegleria fowleri and Leptospirosis earned theirs through invisibility. The copperhead earns number 1 through sheer familiarity. Not hidden, not rare, not exotic, simply the one Appalachia has stopped looking for, waiting in the one place nobody thinks to check before they sit down. So here is what this list is actually about. Not the 11 creatures themselves, but the second swimming hole in every mountain town, the one nobody goes in anymore, the one that got its reputation from a toe biter, or a copperhead nobody saw coming and kept that reputation long after the original reason got lost. The hellgramite is still under that rock. The copperhead is still coiled at the leaf line. And somewhere in the warm, still water of a farm pond, you have swum in 100 times. Something too small to see is drifting, exactly where it has always been. What is known is that the water looks the same, whether or not anyone is paying attention, and that the swimming hole everyone avoids, and nobody can explain, probably earned that reputation honestly one summer from something on this very list.